Welcome to the Newsmatic Pro video tutorial. Learn how to build a professional news or magazine website from scratch. Whether you're starting a news blog or building a full magazine site, I've got you covered with Newsmatic Pro. Before we begin, if you are an existing user of the Newsmatic theme, you might notice that there are some new customizers sections like the header builder and the footer builder. Let's start designing our header by going into the header builder section. As you can see, there are a lot of predefined widgets like social icons, site logo, and title widget, along with other header widgets. We can drag and drop these widgets in specific columns, for example. I am going to drag the social icons widget from the second row to the third row, and we can see the changes reflected in the header. Now let's create an entirely new header by clicking on the Clear All Widgets button. This button will clear all the widgets that are currently being used. Let's start customizing the second row. In the first column of the second row, I want the Social Icons widget. In the second column, I want the site logo and title widget. And lastly, in the third column, I want the newsletter widget and random news widget. Now let's customize the first row. In the first column of the first row, I want the date time widget, and in this second column, I want the ticker news widget. In the third row, second column, I want the primary menu widget, and in the first column, I want the off-canvas widget, and in the third column, I want the search widget and theme mode widget. Now that all the widgets have been set, let's start customizing some of them individually. To start off, let's customize the site logo and title widget. Click on the widget you want to customize, and it will take you to its related section controls. Firstly, let's set our logo. We also have the option to set the logo for dark mode. Click on the theme mode button to see if the dark mode logo is shown when dark mode is turned on. We can also set the width of the logo. Let's increase it a little bit and hide the site title. Now let's design the first row. Click on the settings icon of the first row. Now let's go to the design tab. We can set the background of the first row. We can either set the solid color or gradient color. For now, I will select the second predefined gradient color. Let's increase the padding top and bottom by 2 pixels. When the row full width option is toggled on or off, the background, as you can see, is adjusted accordingly. It allows the background to take the full container width or boxed width. This control affects the border and the padding control as well. Now that we have completed designing the first row, let's design the newsletter button. Let's change the label to subscribe. Change the icon as well. And we also have the option to change the initial and hover colors. For now, I don't want any colors, so let's revert it back. Now let's design the random news widget. I want this button to be labeled as just random rather than random news. We can also change the icon of this button, but I am satisfied with the one we currently have selected. Now that we have finished designing the random news button, let's design our primary menu. Here we have 2 typographic controls, one for the main menu and the second one for the submenus. For the main menu, I want my font family to be Outfit. Font size to 14 pixels, and letter spacing to 1. We also have other options like text decoration, text transform, and line height. You can play around with it if you like, and you will be surprised to see the outcome. Go back to the header builder settings, and we can find the option to make the header section sticky. Turn it on, and we can see the other options we can play around with. Now let's see if header is being sticky or not. The header is sticky, but only when scrolling upwards. We have an option called Enable Header Sticky on scroll down. Turn this option on so that the header is sticky when scrolling down as well. I want to make the colors uniform. Right now, the colors are not uniform. As you can see, the background in the first row is orange, and in the second row, the border bottom is green. Let's fix that by going into the settings of the second row. We can see the border bottom option, change the color to orange, and set the width of the border to 2 pixels, looking much better. Let's set a proper menu from the Menus section. I have 3 menus currently, or we can create a new menu entirely. For my purpose, I will select Menu 1 and check on the main header checkbox. As we can see, the menu is now properly set. Let's publish the changes we have made. You might have noticed that when I hovered on the menu, the hover color was green, so let's change that to orange from the primary menu widget. On the Design tab, we can see text color. Let's change the hover color to orange. Let's hover on the menu and check. Looking good. With this, we have successfully designed our header. It looks good. Click on the Footer Builder section to start customizing the footer. As you can see, scroll to Top Widget and Copyright Widget are defaultly set. Let's start customizing from the first row. In the first column, I will select the Sidebar 2 widget. Let's add some block widgets to this sidebar. The first widget I am going to add is the Newsmatic Post List widget. I only want the posts from the fashion categories to be displayed. There are 3 layouts we can choose from, and I will disable the Load More button. Let's drag the Sidebar 2 widget to column 2 instead. And in the first column, let's add the Sidebar 1 widget. In this widget, let's add the Newsmatic Popular Post Slider widget. I don't want to display those arrows, so I will disable them. And in the third column, I will add the Sidebar 3 widget. And in this sidebar, I will add the Newsmatic Posts Grid 2 column widget. I only want to show 4 posts, so I will decrease the number of posts to show to 4, and I do not want to show the Load More button. And that's all the widgets I am going to use in this row.
I do not like the fact that the first row and the last row have the same color. So how about we change that?
To change the color, let's go to the settings and in the Design tab, set the background to something blackish. In the third row, I want 2 columns instead of 1 column. The alignment is messed up after adding the second column. To fix this, go to the Column tab and set the alignment of column 1 to left and leave column 2 as it is.
In the second column, I want to Footer Menu widget. Set a proper menu for it as well. And publish our changes. That's all. I am quite satisfied with our footer.
Now let's customize our main banner section. In this section, there are 5 layouts. By default, layout 4 is selected. I want the posts to be ordered from the oldest posts to the newest posts. I do not want any dots in the slider. And I want slider images to have more resolution. And as for the block posts, instead of having them randomly ordered, I want them ordered from the newest posts to the oldest posts, so that the slider and the block don't show the same posts. There are 5 front page sections, and we will discuss them later in the video. The first section I am going to discuss is the left content right sidebar section. To enable this section, click on the I button from the section reorder control, and I want this section to be the first section after the main banner. We can reorder this by just dragging this section on top of the full width section from the section reorder control. The cool thing about this section is that we can add as many blocks as we want. To add a new block, click on the Add Layout button, and we can see a list of blocks we can add like News Grid, News Filter, etc. By default, News Filter block is provided, but I will add News Grid block, and I want it above the News Filter block. To customize the News Grid or any other blocks, click on the arrow button, and we can see a bunch of options we can play around with. Let's play with some of them. In the News Grid block, I don't want to show the post date, so I will turn it off. And from the post query, I will set number of posts to display to 3 and order by to A to Z in an alphabetical order. In the news filter block, I don't want to display the post author, so let's toggle if off. And from the posts query, I will add fashion, health, and lifestyle categories to display as tabs. I feel like adding an advertisement, so I will add an advertisement block to this section as well. From its settings, I will upload its image. And scroll to see how it looks. Just below the advertisement banner, I will also add a news list block. By default, the number of columns is set to 2. Let's change it to 1, and let's also display the Read More button. From the post query, I will set number of posts to 3 and order by to reverse alphabetical order Z to A. It is looking good, but since the right sidebar is empty, it looks like something is missing. So let's add some content in the right sidebar as well. To add content in the sidebar, click on the Manage Right sidebar, which will redirect us to its respective field. In this sidebar, I will add Newsmatic Post List widget, set its layout to 3, add Newsmatic Post Grid 2-column widget, and Banner Ads widget. In the Newsmatic Post Grid 2-column widget, we have only set posts to show to 3 posts. Let's increase that by 1 and make it 4 to make the layout even. This concludes the left content right sidebar section customization. Now let's move on to the full width section. To enable this section, click on the I button, same as we did in left content right sidebar section. In this section, News Grid widget is provided by default. I am going to add News List block. Let's hide the News Grid block for now by clicking on the I button. And let's start customizing our news list block. I want 3 columns in this news list block, and I will hide the post author and excerpt from this block to make it clean and minimal. From the post query, I will show a total of 9 posts and order them from the oldest posts to the newest post. Keep in mind that most blocks have almost the same controls, so we need to only get used to one block, and customizing the other blocks will be easy. The next section we are going to discuss is the video playlist section. There are a couple things that need to be considered while working with this section. The first thing to consider is a YouTube API key. Without the proper YouTube API key, this section will not be displayed on the front end. The second thing to consider is the validity of the video. Make sure the videos you want to display are not private in YouTube or have not been removed from YouTube. To enable this section, we do the same thing as did in the previous 2 sections we discussed. We click the I button. There are 2 layouts in this section. By default, layout 1 is selected. Now we add the URL of the videos we want to display in the video playlist control. I will add a gray background color to make it stand out from the rest of the sections. That's all in the video playlist section. Now we move to the left sidebar right content section. This section is very similar to the left content right sidebar section. By default, News List widget is provided. I will add a News Grid widget and hide the News List widget. In the News Grid block, I will set the number of columns to 2 and leave the rest as it is. Moving on to the left sidebar, I will add Newsmatic Post List widget. With this, we have finished customizing the left sidebar, right content widget. Now moving on to the bottom full width section. This section is very similar to the one we previously discussed, the full width section. By default, News Carousel block is provided. Let's put this section just above the latest post section. The News Carousel block has 4 layouts. By default, layout 4 is selected, but I will select layout 2 to match the vibe of the rest of the section. 4 columns seems a little compact, so let's make it 3. I don't want the slider dots, but I will loop slider items and also enable autoplay. With that, we have concluded the entire front page sections.
Now let's customize the right sidebar. Let's go to the Widgets panel and Sidebar section. In this sidebar, I will add the Newsmatic Social Icons widget and Newsmatic Post List widget. In the Post List widget, I will select Layout 2 and increase the post from 3 to 6. Let's scroll to see how our latest posts are looking. Looking good? Let's continue.
The next section we are going to discuss is Your Opinion section. This section can be used to add the opinions of people on a certain topic. Let's enable this section. Let's add some opinions by clicking on the settings icon. Let's change the title, add an image. This is all it takes to add an opinion. To add another opinion, click on the Add New Opinion button and repeat the same process we just performed. We can make this section either 2 columns or 3 columns. I prefer 3 columns, so I have selected that. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a huge gap in our latest posts section just below the Newsmatic post list widget. To fix this, let's go to the global panel and onto the sidebar options section. Here we can select different sidebar layouts for different pages like the archives, single posts, and pages. We also have the option to make the sidebar sticky, and that is what we are going to do for our latest posts section. Enable the sidebar sticky option for archives. So now when we scroll, we won't see that huge gap.
Now let's move on to animation and hover effects. We can find this section in the global panel. We can enable Site Wow animation, but I don't want it for now, so I will keep it disabled. I will, however, play around with post title hover effects and image hover effects. For the post title hover effects, by default, effect 1 is selected, but I will select effect 2 instead. In image hover effects, effect 1 is selected by default. I will select effect 2 here as well. We can hover over any image and see the effect.
Now let's tweak the colors a little bit from the colors section. We can change the preset colors of both the solid and gradient colors from here. I don't want to change any of the preset colors, so I will leave it as it is. In the category colors section, we can set the color of each individual category. I only have 5 categories, so I will select predefined solid colors for each of these categories. And as we select, we can see the changes immediately in the preview. In the typography section, we can set the typography of block title, post meta, and post content. Let's change the font family of the block title to Outfit, font weight to medium, and font size to 25 pixels. Let's also make some changes in the post title. Let's set its font family to Outfit as well, font weight to regular, and font size to 23 pixels. And I am going to leave the rest as it is. Now let's publish all our changes and view it in the front end. This is how it previously looked, and this is how it currently looks.
Let's click on the search button. The search is looking good. Let's scroll and keep looking. The sticky header is also looking very good. Sidebar sticky is also looking very good.
For any queries or support, please visit BlazeThemes.com.